Bangarang Rufio, and welcome to the Lost Boys Gaming Podcast, where we discuss all things Nintendo and Pokémon. This is your host, Trent Anderson, and today we are joined by Mitch as we discuss new gameplay elements and features that would be interesting to see Game Freak and Nintendo implement into upcoming Pokémon games. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lost Boys Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Trent, and we are joined again by our good friend, Mitch. Mitch, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Trent?
Good. So we're glad that Mitch could be on. I think that probably going forward, we will see a lot of Mitch going forward. So hope you guys are excited to see that. Today, we are talking more Pokemon and some things that we hope we could see in a Gen 9 game. Things that we hoped that we would have seen sooner, and possibly things that just different things that they could change up, or what Pokemon could do to kind of spice up things a little bit, maybe give us a little bit of a different taste than what we have been used to. So we're excited, and so let's just hop right in, I guess. So Mitch, what's that first thing that you think of that I wish Game Freak would add this to a Nintendo game, or what feature that you would like to see?
Honestly, the one thing I think that has really, I guess, captures people's attention are overworld shinies. Like even if it's a different mechanic, seeing that overworld shiny is amazing. Going back to Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, seeing that overworld shiny spawn in was so exciting. It got people who have avoided Pokemon for over a decade to jump right back in and start playing that game again. And then 100%. With hearing that little sparkly jingle in Legends Arceus is amazing. Like I've seen people use that sound for everything now because it's such a good sound. And seeing the little stars pop out with a different colored Pokemon, I mean, it's so simple but so wonderful at the same time.
Oh, it's so good. So do you remember what your first shiny was in Let's Go? Like, that was the first time that we saw overworld shinies. I still remember mine, and it was a totally random encounter. So I'm just curious if you remember what yours was.
I'm trying to think. So I want to say it was a male Nidoran.
Okay.
On like the route towards the Elite Four.
Like Route 2, I think.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah, so it was right there. I was just further down the path after you beat your rival.
Yeah.
I think it was a male Nidoran. And to be honest, that was way later after I had beaten the game. I didn't get a shiny my whole normal playthrough. When I finally got one, I was flipping out. It was amazing. I finally tried chaining it, and I got one. So.
Yeah, it was cool. So I don't remember the route number now, but it's the route that's between, like you're heading over to Fuchsia. So like you've come down from Lavender Town through like the water, and then you turn left and you go towards Fuchsia. So it was on that path, and it was a shiny Venomoth. And I remember seeing it's similar to the male Nidoran, which actually is one of my favorite shinies, but it's that royal blue. Like I just remember seeing it, and I was like, what the crap? I'm like, that thing's shiny. And that was like, it's like such a rush to actually see that overworld shiny. Like, it's so good. And then, I mean, I hunted a ton of stuff. I think I've hunted Let's Go the most of all. I get outside of Legends Arceus, of course, because I think the shiny hunting in that is so broken and so fun that you see anything. Do you remember your first shiny in Legends Arceus?
Yes, I was having a drought, and I was trying to get complete 10s in different dexes and trying different methods. Like early on, we could reset an outbreak and keep re-rolling it before they did the update. And so I was trying that, and it just wasn't working. And like I had friends galore, like getting tons of shinies, and I'm just over here being a little bitter. I'm like, why am I not getting a single one? And so my first ones in Legends Arceus is I went out. It was a Beautifly outbreak, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna try to re-roll anymore because
I think I remember seeing your video of this.
And it was really early on still, and I got a video. Maybe we'll get it in.
I'll see if I can find it,
and I'll send it, and we'll make sure we show it. But I roll up to it, and it goes bling bling, and there's 2 shiny Beautifly at once, and if I wish I was recording it, I was losing it. I was like running around. I was so happy, and I decided to name them Bert and Ernie because they shined at the exact same time. Yeah. So, yeah, it was amazing.
I do remember that. I didn't realize that was your first one, but I remember seeing that video of the double shinies. I was so jealous because I was like, two freaking shinies in the same outbreak. Are you kidding?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, sweet. My first shiny in Arceus was a shiny Golduck. And I was also from an outbreak that I sat and reset before
I love
they
that
nerfed
method.
it.
It was so
I was so
broken.
bummed when they did it. And then I thought you could reset it, like if you just didn't, because like you'd go to camp and then you just reset and respawn in.
Yeah.
But then I thought when they had nerfed it, I thought you could just save it before you actually left for camp, before you went to the different area or whatever. But that, I guess that didn't work anymore. So at least now they gave us MMOs, which is, at least it's a little bit helpful,
good.
But it's harder to target a specific Pokemon, which kind of stinks.
Yeah, it's true. So definitely completing the decks and getting perfect entries in Arceus helps a ton. But, that's a big grind as well. And so I love that. I think it's really engaged a lot of people. I think it's helped people to enjoy shinies more. I think it's made it too easy. So I think taking the aspect of overworld shinies in hopefully Scarlet and Violet forward would be optimal, would be amazing to see, because it's just adds a whole new context to the game and makes you just so excited to explore even after you've beaten it.
Yeah, and I think with these being open world games especially, like it's a total need. Like that was my biggest gripe. I guess it's not my biggest gripe because there's a lot of flaws with Sword and Shield. But it was one of my bigger gripes was that they gave it to us in Let's Go, and it was like, this is the first Pokemon experience on the Switch, like was Let's Go, and you're like, oh sweet, overworld shinies, this is crazy. And then it's like, oh, here's overworld spawns, but we're not going to give you overworld shinies. You're still going to have to encounter them to see if it's a shiny or not, which really stinks, because I feel like you miss out. I mean, I'm sure I missed out on a couple shinies because it's like, oh, I don't care about catching that Pokemon per se, or it's like, oh, I've already caught like 12 Obstagoon or whatever. Like you see them all the time in the wild area. So it would have been more fun to be able to kind of see them in the overworld. So I hope that, I mean, especially with playing like with friends, I'm really curious to see how this is all going to work with the multiplayer. Like, if I'm playing with you, am I going to see the same spawn that you see? Like, are we both going to see like a Snorlax that's roaming around, or a Colossal in the cave like that they showed? Like, and if it's shiny for me, is it going to be shiny for you? Like, I'm curious to see what they do with that.
That would be so cool, because that's another aspect, like going back to max raid battles or dens from Sword and Shield. Like, it's cool because if you roll a shiny den, like there are ways that people could exploit that, but like everyone has a chance to get the shiny.
Yeah.
And so that was cool. So I'm wondering if they're going to bring that over to multiplayer as well. It's going to be very interesting to see. And so I'm very excited. I hope that Nintendo Direct, we get a little more Scarlet and Violet information, and maybe they'll reveal some stuff about shinies. I know that will intrigue a lot of people. For sure. So
for sure, yeah. So kind of going back to that multiplayer then, what's like an ideal multiplayer situation for you? Because like Sword and Shield, it was a cool concept, I feel like, but they didn't really execute it. Like you'd see people in the wild area, it was crazy glitchy. Like you weren't actually really playing with your friends. Like sure, you could camp with them, you could do raid, like the max raid dens and stuff, which was like just basically having a battle with them. It wasn't like really true multiplayer in the sense like that they made it sound like you're gonna be able to like roam the fields and whatever. It's like outside of like, I guess, the better connectivity and better like just more fluid experience, like what would you want to see from a multiplayer perspective in Sword and Shield or in Scarlet Violet?
I definitely think, and BDSP, different entire like company who designed them and programmed them. Right. I think they're on the right track, and how they overhauled like the underground a lot. I think it was really cool is that you could do a special code and be with friends, or you could be with a bunch of other players. You could always see them moving around. You could interact with them, interact and see them like encountering Pokemon as well. I think that was the right track. And so multiplayer, I hope that it's like Safari Zone-esque, Underground-esque, where you can do different things, catch Pokemon together, do cool battles. I want it just like, growing up seeing like Ash and all the different groups of friends he travels with. That's what I want it to kind of be like in a game.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to be able to like go through different stories, or if they choose to add DLCs, that it's more multiplayer focused. And so you could do it on your own, or you could do it with friends. And it'd be really cool to be able to go through the story and like level up your Pokemon together and do more than just do trades and certain battles or mini games.
For sure. That would be, I think that'd be sweet. I think the other thing that I think would be cool is, so with it being open world, I feel like they have a chance to like add like specific like missions into the game.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it'd be cool like if there's like specific missions that you have to accomplish with like another player, like another trainer. So I think that's like, and then you could have like cool rewards based off of like some of those missions. Like you get something cooler than just like, here's a potion, here's a 3 revives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give me something cool. Like, hey, get like 10 nuggets or something. Like maybe that's crazy. Or like give us like something like a cool ball or something.
Yeah, April balls will be amazing, because that's something that, you know, Nintendo, everyone's like, they gave us a Cramomatic, and I just call it the Scamomatic, because the odds are so bad. I'm like, I get they're rare balls, but they should not be that hard to get.
Yeah.
And it's just, it was a little unfair. So I hope there's a better opportunity for us to get those in the future, because they're such cool aspects. And, you know, like, I'll be honest, when it came to BDSP and they still have all the duping glitches, I only duped Pokemon holding April balls to get those special Pokeballs. And so I have like 100 of each. But like, you know, I don't think people should be forced to cheat or have terrible odds to get those, when like Heart Gold and Soul Silver and the original Gen 2 games, you could just pick them from like a berry plant and get them made anytime you want.
Go and make them, yeah.
Yeah, so
that would be cool, because yeah, I do feel like I'd use that same exploit to get like extra Master Balls. Like it's stupid, but it's like, make it, if you make it more accessible, then you're not gonna have to like use these other means to get the items that you want. But yeah, I mean, you can still make them hard to get. Like, it's kind of, I think of it kind of like a shiny Pokemon. Like, you still want to make it like difficult to get, but you don't want to make it like utterly impossible.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I want them to, keep the challenge to different aspects of the game, but don't make things so hard that it's near impossible for everyone to get.
Yeah.
So
I would agree. I think that'd be cool. I mean, hopefully, I guess we'll see what they do with multiplayer and with items, because I think it would be cool to kind of make like some of those, like those cooler items, like incentivize you to play multiplayer. But back to that original point too, like they better make multiplayer good. It better be a better experience if they're gonna do that, because like I think that's like one of the biggest things that's been missing from Pokemon is like a cool multiplayer experience. To like, to your point, that I want to feel like you're on this journey with like your buddies, like what Ash is doing with Brock and Misty, you know, in the Indigo League. Or was it Tracy in Gen 2? Or
Tracy,
Indigo League?
Indigo League, he joined for like Orange Islands.
Yeah.
And then he was in Gen 2 as well.
Yeah.
For a short time.
Yeah, and then more recently, Journeys with like Go. Like, it's cool. Like, I feel like they could really add that like aspect of you're not. I mean, Pokemon, he's like, it's never been alone. Like, and I feel like it's been a very solo experience in the game, at least up until this point. So I think that's a cool opportunity to kind of link it back to the anime, to more than just, oh, hey, I traded you my Squirtle for your Charmander, so now we have all the starters, you know?
Linking back to, I just mentioned Orange Islands. I think that's a very forgotten part of the anime. I've talked to many friends of mine who are big Pokemon fans, and that's something they don't recall, they don't remember. And then, you know, you bring up the big points like the Crystal Onyx, you know, an Onyx entirely different material, it was so beautiful and amazing when you saw that. And then you see like they go to another island where it's like the Pinken Island or whatever it's called, and all the berries on that turn all the Pokemon pink. And it's cool to see how they just vary. And, you know, that was something I think in Fire Red they kind of did with like the Sevi Islands, but it very much didn't have it was very lackluster in a way.
Right.
And so I think I've talked with my shiny hunting friends before, like what if there were special variants that you could somehow get through like a quest, maybe back in multiplayer, where they introduce like the Crystal Onyx. That's a quest you can all do together, and you gotta do one time, and that's the variant of like a secret shiny, but like it's not really shiny, it's just a different form. But like, you know, instead of like a regional form, it's just a different variant of form because of the environment it's in. And like that would be really cool to see, I think, to introduce stuff like that.
I'd be all over the Crystal Onyx. Like the Orange Islands was, I mean, I watched Indigo League like all the time, and I've watched it. I think Indigo League's on Netflix, at least part of it is. They used to have the whole Indigo League, which I was bummed when they took off like the last half of it.
I know.
But I think Orange Islands was still on there. So I actually watched that not that long ago. and I'm not sure if it might be down now, but I remember watching the Orange Islands. I think to that point, it would be so cool to have like a special variant. Like shinies are cool, and don't get me wrong, I love shiny hunting, and shinies I think don't need to go anywhere. They don't need to change anything with them. I think it would be cool to like get a Crystal Onyx. Like that would be so cool. Like they gave us in Pokemon Go, they gave us the Pikachu, like the special Pikachus with the hats.
Yeah.
With all of Ash's different hats. Like do something like that. Like just give it like a skin almost. Like here's your Crystal Onyx. Like I think that'd be so cool. You don't have to necessarily even change this base stats or anything. Like don't like leave the stats alone. Maybe buff it a little bit, sure, but I don't think they get super crazy with it. But it would be sweet to get like a pink, like a pink Pikachu or a pink Charmander or whatever's from the eye. Like it'd be sweet.
Yeah, no, and I think it'd be great. I mean, with Pokemon Home Access now to Legends Arceus, they very much they have alpha variants now that can be in home, and you can see that. So they could easily do that with like a different color. Like, for example, Magearna. It doesn't have an official shiny, but it has a special form. If you complete the Pokédex in home, you get a special variant of Magearna, which is like gold and red. And so that's really cool, but it's not a shiny technically. So they could easily do stuff like that. And I think, that's very viable in the future. I don't know how they would do it. I don't think we're going to get a Kanto remake anytime soon, but maybe if they, I don't know what they'll do, but I would love to see different forms added where it's still the same Pokemon, but it kind of ties back for nostalgia feeling.
Yeah, I think if it's like, I don't think they'll make a Kanto, but they could potentially redo like a Gold and Silver remake, and then because of that, they could give us Kanto essentially, even though without giving us Kanto, like give us a Kanto remake without giving us a Kanto remake, because it is Soul Silver and a Silver Crystal. You go back to Kanto and you take on the same gym leaders. So because Indigo League it's the same Indigo League. They're for both Johto and Kanto. So I mean, you could tie it in that way a little bit. I think would be cool. And that's actually another thing that I wish that we could have done in more games is let us go back to different regions. Like don't just let us have one region per game. Like I think that was what was so like I think partly that's why people think of like Silver and Crystal and Gold, and then essentially Soul Silver and Heart Gold as some of the best Pokemon games, is because there's so much content. Yeah, like you get 2 full regions. Yes, the Elite Four is the same for both regions. Like take that as you were, but you got to explore all of Johto and all of Kanto. So like, how cool would it be if they gave us like, I don't think this will ever happen, but it would be so cool if they gave us like I also want to know how all the regions interconnect. So give us like a game that you can go to every region and like just explore everything. I mean, it's going to be a huge game, obviously, but it would be so cool to like be able to see how like where like people have speculated, and there's like fan maps and fan art out there, but like where is Sinnoh in relation to Kanto and Johto? Where is Kalos in relation to whatever? Like we're assuming that Scarlet and Violet's going to be just a little bit south and west of where Kalos is, because France and Spain, they're sitting like that border. But it's like, I'd like to know like Pokemon canon, where do they actually sit? What does the world look like? And like, granted, I know they won't probably do that because they're always going to add like extra generations, so they don't want to pigeonhole themselves. But I think it'd be cool to at least go back to other regions in a game. Like you could go back and visit Gen 1, 2, 3.
I would love that, and I've said that since I was a kid. I'm like, this would be so cool to have more fleshed out like full games. And I get that's a massive file, especially as you're trying to probably do all future games be open world, I imagine. Right. But that would be really cool. I think that would be great. And you going back to like Pokemon lore in Kanto, you look at Lieutenant Surge, and he was like this great fighter in like a war. And you wonder why you're like, obviously, like why is they're coming out with Pokemon region by region, years after year, but like you wonder why like no one else really knows much about other regions or like other Pokemon, and like maybe it's because borders were closed because of this war and the world was like healing. Like who knows? Like it'd be cool if they fleshed stuff out and continued adding stuff to games that kind of piece little pieces of these stories together over time. And so you look at Journeys now, and if you watch the anime, you just see Pokemon from every region, just everywhere. Like there are, Pokemon from like Unova and Kalos like living in Kanto now, like in the wild. Like you just see a lot of like migration patterns for Pokemon. I think that's cool. And that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so, but yeah, at the same time, one thing I do really respect about Kanto and Unova, those games, is that when you got there, you could only use the Pokemon in that region. You didn't have access to other Pokemon yet. And I thought that's really cool because you have to learn new Pokemon. You have to choose your favorites. And I think that helped me appreciate those games a lot more too. And those are the only two that have done that. Other ones have had a blend of Pokemon from previous regions.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think that everyone has their favorites. Like, if I have the opportunity to use Charizard, I'm gonna use Charizard every time. Like, I was actually like kind of peeved when Sword and Shield came out, and I was like, you can't get Charmander till after you beat the game. Like, there's a Charizard in here. I want Gigantomix's shiny Charizard, and I can't get his Charmander till after I beat the game. So that, like, to that point, it forced me to use. So I actually, when I played Sword and Shield, I used a complete Galar team. Like, I think, like, I didn't use anybody from a different region, any Pokemon from a different region. It does help you to learn the region. So I think, like, if Charmander's in this game, or if the Charizard line's in Scarlet and Violet, yeah, I'll probably throw him. He'll probably be my team. And I'll probably still choose Fuecoco because I always pick the fire starter. So I'll just like pigeonhole myself into a fire team. But I think it is fun, like, to that point, to like learn the Pokemon of the region. Like, it's almost like a little bit more fun sometimes to, like, yeah, you want to pick your favorites and stuff, and you want to go through it, but it is fun to kind of do a playthrough with like that region specific Pokemon.
And I agree. And it's just, I don't know. I'm very excited to see what they reveal more about Scarlet and Violet. You know, I hope they reveal more mechanics about it. With it, you know, that's something that I feel like people aren't talking about because it was really shown, I think, in the multiplayer segment we saw, is that you can have Pokemon following you. And I don't know if that's if that's the entire game or just multiplayer. But, like, that's a feature I want always. Like, I feel like you should be able to have at least one Pokemon like out following you and journeying with you. And hopefully it's, you know, they have better animations than Sword and Shield and BDSP, because those are all kind of derpy looking and just aren't fully fleshed out. You know, proper sizes. If I have a Wailord, have it be gigantic. It's okay. Like, if seriously, it can't go somewhere, have it go in the Pokeball. I get that. That's fine. But, you know, proper sizing of Pokemon following you, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I think especially with it being open world, like, this is like with it, I feel like they have an opportunity because to make things like to scale, if that makes sense. Like, top down game, sure, I get it. Like, it's not going to be to scale. Like BDSP, you've got your chibi style, like that's not going to be to scale. Red and blue original, like that's not to scale, but like I think part of the thing is like with Pokemon, or I guess new Pokemon Snap, like when you saw that Wailord and like that thing was like gigantic. So it's like, why not give us Pokemon to scale, especially if we're playing open world and you're out wandering amongst them, like overworld spawns. I think it's cool. But I think, and that, to your point too, like the animations and stuff, like I feel like that's a feature that they've had, and then they take away, and then they add it again, and they take it away. Because like Pokemon Yellow was the first game for Gen 1, and you had Pikachu that could follow you. Granted, that was the only Pokemon that would follow you, but you could still have Pikachu follow you around. And then I don't think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they added that feature back until Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
I think you're right. I don't recall seeing that in Crystal Gold
or through any of the GBA games either. So Gen 3 didn't have it. So it wasn't until Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out that they kind of added that back in. I remember people were freaking out. That was I think was that 2010? I think it was like our sophomore year of high school. Because I remember people playing like going back to play Crystal and Gold like from our childhood, you know, on their DS. And it was like, oh, I could have shiny Gyarados follow me around. This is so cool. And then, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the only time maybe before that was in Diamond and Pearl, but it was only in that like Vanity Square, that special place in like Hearthstone City, and it was like only a select handful of Pokemon, so it really was limited. And I think they, you know, added that feature back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and it just blew people's minds. It was so cool.
Yeah, so I think if they can make it cool, because the other complaint I had was that like if certain Pokemon would take forever to follow you in Sword and Shield, it's like you'd run and then all of a sudden like, oh, where is my Pokemon? Like, what the heck is it? And it's like, oh, he's trying to fly through a tree and the tree's blocking him.
Yeah, no, pathfinding was definitely an issue, and so I'm excited to see that fully fleshed out, maybe better gameplay with that. I think it's super cool. And you know, it would have been cool to see that in Legends Arceus, but I understand they have the overworld spawns like popping up everywhere, so that might have been difficult, especially as you're flying or riding like weird deer. The one thing I loved in overworld spawns is we mentioned size differences, like alphas and different things. I want that feature. I think that's cool. You know, something like I've done several like Machoke or Machop like MMOs or outbreaks before, and it's hilarious seeing this tiny Machoke that's shorter than me, like this teenage boy in a game, and this Machoke who like can lift a house is like smaller than I am, and I think that's hilarious. And seeing how big alphas are, how they just tower over you, it's just the coolest, like, you know, size difference. They always talked about it in the Pokédex, but finally being able to see it, I think is so cool.
Yeah, and I hope that this is something that they take away from Legends Arceus, is that I feel like and I hope that this is like a test for them. Like, okay, let's test out some of these concepts, make sure, like, see how they're received, see what it looks like, put it out in a game before we give them Sword or Scarlet Violet. So, like, I hope that some of those things that we saw, like the alphas, like this, being able to see like an overworld Pokemon that is clearly larger than, like, because it's like, oh, like in the other thing, like in Let's Go, you'll see it like it has the blue swirls with the red swirls, like, oh, it's bigger, it's tiny, but it looks the exact same size in the overworld.
Yeah.
It's like, it was cool to see like an actual teeny Pokemon, like, oh, look at this Shinx, it's actually a lot smaller than the other Shinx, or like this Shinx is huge, like it's the alpha one or whatever. So I think that'd be cool to kind of really showcase, like, hey, we're paying attention to some of the details, because like Pokemon games, you're not playing for the graphics a ton. Like, I'm not gonna sit and complain about it if the graphics aren't like 100% amazing or like look like it's on an Xbox Series S or whatever, but like give you those little details, like the size of a Pokemon, like look how big it is, like what does it like some of those animations and things like that. And I think it makes it like, so you're not so focused on, oh, look, this is the same piece of grass that we saw, like, you know, like people complain about the trees or the grass. Like, I think that'll go away a little bit if they can add some of those mechanics in.
Oh, I agree too. I know. I think, you know, they're not trying to be the best graphic like game company out there.
Oh, not at all.
And I think, you know, and so they're pumping out Pokemon as fast as possible, which is, you know, to appease the fan base. And so, yeah, trees aren't always going to look great. Or like, they're like, you can see like jittering motions in like Pokemon or moving buildings, like when it's still in development, sometimes when you're too far away. And, you know, that I see why people don't like it, but that's not for me. I want a fully fleshed out story with a lot of cool features. So if they have little jittery bug things like that in there, you know, I can look past that as long as they make sure I can be fully invested and like totally like dive deep into this game. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the lore and see how it interconnects.
Yeah, I think that's one hope I have for this game too, is that they haven't really, I guess in some games they've given it to us, but like I feel like they have a ton of lore that they can give us in Scarlet and Violet that they haven't given us in past generations. Like, I think that they're kind of setting that up with like the whole past and future thing. So I think that there's a chance for them to give us a ton of lore and like a cool storyline, because that was one of the complaints that I've heard a lot. And as I've thought about it, it's like, yeah, Sword and Shield, they did a crap job at that. Like, all the stuff that's going on, Leon's the one who's like, don't worry, handle it. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next gym. I'm going to handle whatever's going on. So like Leon's the ones who's actually living the story of like saving the region. Whereas like in Gen 1, like you're the one who's battling Giovanni. You're the one who goes to Silphco. Like in Gen 8, it was, oh, Leon, don't worry, guys. Don't worry, I got it. I'm the undefeated champion. And go do your gym battle. It's like, I want to see some of the lore, and I think that that's something that hopefully they give us more of in Gen 9.
When I think it was the first season of Pokemon Journeys, seeing Go and Ash do their own little storylines as they're trying to help save the Galar region was amazing. Like seeing Ash fly in the air alongside Leon on his Charizard. that would have been a cool mechanic to have, or like it's kind of like, you know, a little an improvement from like the Ultra wormholes from Ultra Sun and Moon. You know, instead of like riding around Solgaleo, but you're like flying and battling like wild Gmax Pokemon spawning that are freaking out because of Eternatus being used.
That'd be sweet.
That would have been cool. Like, you know, a little side quest type thing. You know,
Yeah.
maybe that might be a little far fetched, but you know, I can be hopeful. It would be cool to be kind of immersive and have it break away from just walking and wandering the land, but like where you're riding a Pokemon in the sky and having to like battle with it against something, or you know, having different types of battle styles like that.
Yeah, I think they could do some cool mini games like that. Yeah, like to the point, like don't make it doesn't have to be like the main game, but like do a cool mini game where you're on Koraidon or Miraidon or whatever, and you have to shoot. Like you have to tell them to shoot like fire blast or whatever. Like and you're trying to hit targets, and it's not just all right, what's my move set? All right, I'm just gonna spam fire. Like you know what I mean? Like I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that's a really good idea. I guess we'll see what happens with this one.
Yeah, so I don't know. Mini games, little extra something there. I don't mind DLCs because it means that they have a lot of extra plans they wanted in the game originally.
Yeah.
But they want to flesh it out further, and so I understand that. I'm okay with that. Because I honestly love getting 2 DLCs for Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
I was grateful because it expanded it and it gave it so much more. But you know, it gave us a lot more Pokemon out of the like little over 800 that we had in Sword and Shield. We had like 600, little over 600 in the game, I think, which is a ton. It's a lot to do. I still think I'm not even finished with my Crown Tundra Pokédex. I haven't caught all yet. So it's just a lot to do. And so what are your thoughts on that? Like having a full national dex?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too. So like so the rumor, a lot of people are speculating that Gen 9 is gonna push us up over 1,000.
And I think
it's like that's an insane amount of Pokemon. Like I get the whole thing is gotta catch them all. So I get that. I think it would be cool, excuse me, to have a game where all Pokemon are in it. I think that would be like, granted, I think it would be sweet to be able to have a game where you can legitimately catch them all, like go after your living dex in a single game. I also think that's incredibly daunting. Like, I don't want to have to feel like I gotta catch 1,000 Pokemon, and then because you legitimately have to catch like over 1,000, because unless you unless you are catching like some of the like they have thrown in some of like the stage 1 and stage 2s like in the overworld a little bit more. So like you can probably get away with catching like you get lucky and you can catch a Gengar, for example, or whatever. But like if you have to just catch Ghastlies and try to level the heck out of like level them up, like it takes forever.
It does.
So, and I also get though, like I said earlier, I was like peeved, like Charmander's not in this game right now. Like, so I also get like that whole, because I remember like it was a year or two ago, or no, it was when they said that this wasn't going to be national dex for Sword and Shield, and then they put out like on Reddit there was that survey was like, what's your favorite Pokemon, and they were trying to prove that every Pokemon is someone's favorite Pokemon, and like it actually happened. Like someone actually picked, like someone even picked Klefki as their favorite Pokemon. Like, okay, cool. But like, so I get that you want your favorite Pokemon in the game. I get it. Like I was bummed when Charizard wasn't, like I couldn't get a Charizard right off the bat. Like I get it. But at the same time, the earlier point, it kind of forces you to learn other Pokemon, learn other movesets, kind of develop other favorites. So like, I'm not like, it kind of bums me out sometimes that it's not like a full dex. Like, and there's other Pokemon like I'm a Charizard fan, so I more often than not I'm getting a Charmander in a game. Like Pokemon Pokemon just feeds the Charizard fanboys because it's 100%. What everybody wants. It's what everyone wants. But like I don't know, I don't know, was Luke, like I don't think Lucario was in, there's been a couple of games that he hasn't been in, right? He's your favorite.
You could get him in black and white. I didn't actually play. I know Sun and Moon was every Pokemon. I think you could get everything.
I think you could in Sun and Moon.
And X and Y as well. So I mean, I missed out on the 3DS era, and so I'm unfortunately
they probably were there.
It's kind of hard. So they may have been there, but it may not have been in the original game. So So it may be something that's afterwards. You finish the game.
Was Lucario in Sword and Shield? I don't remember. He was.
Yeah, it was. It's and that's the national dex. I'm on the fence, kind of like you. We're like getting to 1,000 Pokemon. That's incredibly daunting, especially since I like shiny hunting. I want better odds. I want the shiny chart. For me to do that, I have to catch everything. And so like 1,000 Pokemon, that's insane. And like to have enough areas where everything's spawning enough.
Yeah.
Like how are they going to make it vary? Like I think the weather idea they did in Sword and Shield, that was pretty cool. Like where like certain areas would have certain weather that would spawn to different Pokemon, and I think that worked out nicely. But it was sometimes when you're looking for that last Pokemon to finish your dex, you either have to like time skip and like jump to get that weather to spawn in, and sometimes people like that, they didn't like doing that. They're like, I feel like it's cheating, so you would have to keep and it could be weeks until they get that. Another thing that like I think with over 1,000 Pokemon potentially and having a national dex is that they always do version exclusives, and ever since I was a kid, I've hated that. I had Fire Red on my own for the longest time on Game Boy when I was a kid, and I could never finish the dex because I missed certain events like mythicals like Mew, or like I couldn't get like a Bellsprout or a Sandshrew because those are only in Leaf Green, and I didn't know anyone else who I could trade with.
Yeah.
And so like that, I mean, now it's much more available. Internet has made it so much easier, and like the technology's improved. But like version exclusives, I don't think that's not what helps me buy a version of a game, really. It's not what Pokemon are in it necessarily. Not necessarily.
I've picked a couple games off of, I know that this version has whatever Pokemon. So I've done that before. So interesting to hear that you don't look at that as much.
I don't know. No, it's not my favorite. Sometimes it'll be based off of the characters. I don't know. It just depends. The characters are the legendary, really. Sometimes, I don't know. Even the story is usually the same. Sometimes just slight differences. I guess it just depends on whatever color I'm feeling or whatever the name is. I think it's cool that they're finally back to colors. So
after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I said on the defense of the national dex. The one thought that I do have around this, though, that I think they could fix it or they could appease fans at least, because part of the, like to your point, having that many Pokemon spawn, I think it's difficult. It's also hard to justify. Like, I feel like there is some validity to saying only certain Pokemon spawn in certain regions. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't make sense like to have if a Pokemon is specific to like a specific like environment and that region doesn't really foster that kind of environment, like it doesn't make sense to have that Pokemon spawn in that region. So I think in order to kind of combat that, and I don't know if they've thought about this or if it's ever come up, is that you give us your regional dex, like just give us the region dex, and then you can still give us the national dex and make every Pokemon available, but just make it available via transfer from home. So like rather than like, okay, so Charmander doesn't spawn in Scarlet and Violet's region, but I have caught Charmander in Sword and Shield, so let me just transfer my Charmander from Sword and Shield into Scarlet Violet. Like, let's give people the national dex that way. You can still have your national dex. You could still try to fill out your national dex by catching from whatever other game you want and transferring it over to home and then vice into different games. But I think that's the thing that I want more of, is that they've kind of locked down what games Pokemon can transfer to and from. Yeah. Like, you can't take a Pokemon, like, and I granted, like, sure, lock Pokemon Go down. Like, don't let us take Go Pokemon to every game. But if I caught it in like an actual game on the Switch, let me take it to whatever other game on the Switch I want. Don't say I can't take a Pokemon from Let's Go to BDSP or whatever, or BDSP. Like, I understand locking down Let's Go a little bit because it is a Gen 1 specific game, but like, let's not lock everything else down and let us transfer Pokemon more freely. Yeah. And part of that probably is to the point of there's so many Pokemon and they might not want to have to animate every Pokemon for a Gen 9 game, so that Pokemon can't go because of that kind of thing. But I think that there's other ways around the national dex issue that they just, I don't know if they haven't thought of or if they just are too lazy to try to implement it.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's definitely something. Whether we have, even from Legends Arceus, we've seen in the trailer that they have the Hisuian Zoroark in there. And
Yeah.
so, I think being able to bring Pokemon in from across all the different games, especially those on the Switch, is very viable. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. I would love to see that. Another thing I love that they're doing is, I think regional variants is cool. Because technically, like for example, a real life example is like we have an American Robin and there's a British Robin, and they like color scheme is very similar, but the body build is entirely different, and it's kind of cool to see different. And so like regional variants, very viable, very cool thing to see. And so there's been rumors about like there's a Tauros variant and different things, and I love the idea of that. I love seeing potential variants in Pokemon we've known for years. And so I hope they keep doing that. I think that was a great addition in Sun and Moon era for Alola, and I hope that they keep implementing that. I don't want any more Meowth variants.
Yeah, I was gonna say they gotta stop picking the same dang Pokemon though.
Yeah, we don't need Meowth. There are like 900 Pokemon. You can choose a new one. There's a lot of options there.
Seriously. Because they've given us what we have 3 different Meowths now. We have 3 different
kind of versions.
Did they give us a Dugtrio or a Diglett? They gave us a Alolan Diglett. There wasn't a Galarian Diglett, was there?
No, I don't think so.
It was just because I remember in the Isles of Armor they had to like find all the Diglets. That was just an Alolan Diglett still, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the dang Meowth.
Yeah. So it's just Meowth's gotten a ton. And we don't need it. I don't think we need it.
Yeah, and the one thing I think we are seeing that is probably going to get another Diglett, like a Gen 9 Diglett regional variant.
Which, if you're going to give us another variant of Diglett, okay, cool. But we need to see what's underneath the ground for Diglett. I mean,
oh, that'd be sweet.
Do you remember that episode? There's an older episode of the anime where like they go to like this Pokemon school or something, and this dude has his Diglett partner out, and you just see it poking above the table, like its head poking above the table he's sitting at.
I don't remember that.
You're like, is this Diglett just like stretching up above the ground? Like, is it just like, it goes back to the leak we saw from like Riddler Coup, where it's like this elongated Diglett that's like super tall. So I'm like, maybe I'll find it and I'll try to send it to you. It's hilarious to see. Like, you're just like, what's going on here?
I'll have to see if I can find that.
But
give us different Pokemon. I think like give us Pokemon that haven't seen a lot of love. So like Tauros, I think is a good one, and I think it fits perfect for like Spain. Like obviously, so that's a good choice.
I would also love to see, because they I don't know if they purposely planned it ahead of time. Like Tauros can only be male, and then they're like, oh crap, we need a female for it, so they made Miltank for Gen 2. If we get a Tauros variant, I would love to see a Miltank variant. I think
that would be
a
cool one.
A good balance there. You have both the male and female variants to kind of complete that out.
That would be sweet. I would like to see a Miltank variant. Do you think so? Here, I mean, we saw our first like kind of variants with starters with the Hisuian forms. Which do you think we'd ever get like a different form that's not just the final Evo for a starter?
I mean, I could see it, but at the same time, I can see why they only did the final evolution. Kind of keep it a surprise. That's like the form that you work hard to become. The Pokemon like grow to be, and so I can see why they chose just having a final evolution being a variant. I don't see why they couldn't do it. Like, they implement. First of all, I'm just gonna say I think Gen 2 has been very neglected for a very long time. So it was good to see like Typhlosion get a cool variant and mix it up. I would love to see more Gen 2, mixing it up, getting some more love. So I could see that a whole line being changed entirely. Do I think they're going to do it in Scarlet and Violet? Probably not. I think they're testing the waters, see how people responded in Legend Arceus for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that to that point, I don't think they'll give us. I would love to see it, but I don't think they'll tamper with starters.
Mm-hmm.
At least the basic form of them. I really hope that they give us like another Legends game, like in a different region, and they continue
That
to
would
like
be
bring
sweet.
starters with, like, continue to give us other starters with different regional
Yeah.
like final evolutions at least. But I don't think they'll do anything too crazy with regional forms this time around. I think partly too, I think that's the goal of like Megas and like Dynamax, that it gives you a different form for like that Pokemon. So it would be cool. I don't know if they'll do it. Do you ever think, so keeping on the starter thing, do you think, like, would you like to see, I guess not if you think, because I don't think they'll ever change it, but would you like to see like a starter with, hey, rather than here's your grass, your fire, and your water starter, here's a psychic, a fairy, and a dark type starter?
I would love it. I think it'd be a total like mix up and change, or like, they're, the motifs that like the two professors from Scarlet and Violet have. Like, I think it's great. And I think that's something that, like a total backstory, how the region is recovering or something, or, that's something that the original starters are kind of lost, or like that they had in the past. And so they implemented new ones. I don't know. I think it'd be a cool spin on it. I think it'd be interesting to kind of see. I would love, and I know, they would never do this because they want to raise and implement good, like, I think good tactics and teachings to especially kids. But like having a choice, when they, like in Kanto, you go across like Nugget Bridge and they're like, do you want to join Team Rocket? Why not have the choice?
That would be sweet.
Like something like that, you could have decided what kind of trainer you could be. And like obviously they're not gonna implement like you hurting people or Pokemon, but
yeah,
like,
give me some Knights of the Old Republic vibe.
Yes, and I think that'd be really cool to see. Is you get to decide which path you're gonna take. They've implemented that in the past with like contests, kind of, and then like only gym badges. But like if you don't want to do that and you kind of want to, like, you can do the badges of course if you want to, but say you don't want to become the champion, you don't want to do the Pokemon League, have like an alternative. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be sweet. I think to your point, I don't think they'll ever change that.
No,
but I mean, they did get rid of badges in gym leader and like gym leaders really for Sun and Moon, which I thought they did a terrible job of. I did not enjoy the gym challenge or like the island challenges or whatever. Yeah. But it would be cool to kind of, I think, to have that tweak. So maybe I'll have to wait for the ROM hack, I guess.
We will see. And so the possibilities are endless. There's so many things people would love to see in games, and unfortunately Game Freak just does not listen to the fan base very well. And so, and that's okay. We can always dream and hope, and they can bring some things in, and I'm excited for the features that they haven't shared with us yet.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, to that point, hopefully the Game Freak does listen. I feel like this is a good step in the right direction, though, for what they've shown so far for Scarlet and Violet. I guess we'll have to wait and see what other features they really show, what the new mechanic might be, if they kind of give us some more of these cool different regional forms, or what they do with the national decks. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I really hope that they've listened and that they take a good step in Gen 9. We'll have to wait and see. We're only, 4 months out now?
It'll 5 months out? It'll be here before we know it.
5 months out, yeah. 5 months out. It'll go by quick. But cool. I don't know, do you have any other thoughts? I feel like we've touched on so much already.
We have. I think the last thing you mentioned is kind of doing another Legends game. There are so many cool regions that would be amazing with that. The history of Johto, where maybe they do that again, a Legends game where you learn about like the birth of the 3 dogs, and like
that was just gonna say
that
the Burning
so
Tower,
cool.
Like the Legend of the Burning Tower, and you're
cool.
there. That would be so sweet. And see have Ho fly over and rain or whatever. Oh.
Yes, so that's
my
really
vote
cool.
for the next one.
I think seeing Unova before it's like really modernized as it is now would be really cool. I don't know. I feel like I didn't play X and Y, but it seemed like I had really cool ideas. It didn't get a third game. It didn't get really fleshed out much. Having something in the future about that. There's a lot they could do. Let's Go or Legends type of style game kind of blend would be amazing.
That'd be cool.
For any of these regions. I think learning about the past and how it came to be is a fantastic way to create more lore about existing Pokemon regions. So that's my last take. I think that would be great to see.
Yeah, I 100% agree. If I had my dream game, I think right now as Gen 9 is, I'm excited for Gen 9, but like the next one on my list is I want to like Legends Ho-Oh, like
Yes.
show me the burning tower or whatever it's called. Show me the 3 dogs or the 3 Pokemon that were consumed by the fire and then the 3 dogs were reborn or whatever. So I think that'd be sweet. I would take that in a heartbeat.
I think everyone would be ecstatic. That'd be great.
For sure. Cool. Well, we'll probably wrap this episode up here. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Mitch. As always, some great insights. I would hope that we see some of these things in a future game, if not Gen 9. To just keep our fingers crossed. So appreciate you all for watching as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video if you are watching the YouTube version. Make sure you can always check us out also on Spotify and wherever else you may listen to podcasts. So thanks again for joining, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you want to see, guys.
Yeah, let us know. Those. Yeah, so tell us what you guys think. Like, let us know what features you want. Also, let us know what you want to cover in a future podcast, whether it's Pokemon, Nintendo. Let us know. We'll probably get to it at some point. So let us know what you guys want to see, and we'll get to it. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks again, Mitch.
Yep.
Until next time, everybody. Catch you later.
Bye.